done?
Jimmy, I've lost my fingers!
I'm not so good with blood. Help! Wee Michelle has help!
Jimmy, it's only ketchup!
Help!
Jimmy!
Help!
It's only ketchup.
Hush, Michelle, I'm not in the mood for your practical jokes.
I could tell, so I thought I'd try to cheer you up.
You women, poking your noses and trying to fix things you know nothing about.
I was just trying to be nice, you dafty.
Dafty? Well, that's rich coming from you. I'd hardly call that behaviour nice.
Jimmy, chill out.
Well, you've got to understand, this is a workplace, not a playground.
Playground? I'm 26, I think I'm over the whole playground thing.
Well, if you could start acting your age, I'd be hugely grateful.
Alright, Jimmy. Where's your sense of humour today?
I thought you'd lost your finger.
I'm a fast mover, me, not an old-timer like you. Nothing could catch me off guard. Your face! You look like you've seen a ghost.
I thought I was going to be sick.
You must admit it got your heart rate going, no? Oh, wee Michelle!
You keep me on the toes, that's for sure. You are some woman.
Wait a minute. Is that a smile I see? I think it is.
Look, there's never a dull day at the Strathspey Railway. I tell you folks, Callum and Tommy, who make up the youngest steam crew in the country when they're on the footplate, have more sense than this one.
Ah, well, someone's got to prevent the crack.
Aye, I suppose you're right there. There's always one clown in the crew.
I am a rather gorgeous clown, though, eh?
Well, that's debatable. What a cracking job it is, though. Just look at where we are. We're surrounded by some of those beautiful countryside Aviemore. To me, passing through the valley is like riding the unpredictable waves as a surfer.
I would like to assure you all our track is completely predictable. What are you talking about?
Oh, it can be a peaceful place to be, and working with this beauty is just the cherry on the top.
Why, thank you.
Not as radiant as you are, Michelle. I am, of course, referring to our Evie Cooper Engineer engine.
First, gracing our tracks in 2000,
the Ibis 46512 engine.
Designed by Henry Ibis.
Constructed in
1952 in Swindon.
Retired from British Rail Service in
1967. Sent to. Come on, Jimmy. Old age getting the better of you?
Oh, how old is you? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Memory's not quite what it used to be, is it?
Woodham Scrapyard in South Wales. My memory's just fine.
Touch you.
What a beauty we have before us today. My father would be in his element if he could see this train now. My grandfather started work on the steam trains at a young age. Trains have always been a big part of my father's life. He could talk excitedly until he was blue in the face about his days volunteering here.
Like father, like son?
If you could just shut up for 5 minutes, I'll get my pints inside.
3 pint. Done.
Aye. He was passionate about the trains with his dad. He drove my mother round the bend. You should have married one of those blasted trains. Well, he was always quick to point out there'd be a lot less nagging if he'd had the sense at the time. Well, he didn't half enjoy winding her up. For her 60th birthday, he said he was taken on a surprise trip and to pack her glad rags and get ready for a weekend of her favourite things. She spent the next week singing his praises. Oh, we'll be off dancing. I bet we're off to the theatre. He knows I love singing in the rain. But when they arrived in Sussex, at the Bluebell station, oh, she knew she was in for a long weekend of steam trains and history lessons, courtesy of her ever so romantic husband. Yeah, when I was a lad, most of his days off was spent taking me on different trips to different railway stations. I must admit, on the first trip, I whinged, telling him I didn't want to go. I was missing out on a Celtic and Rangers match with my friend and his dad. Turns out, I'd had my excitement. It was all noise, rhythm, and puffs of steam. Where was it going? Who was on board? My imagination had run away from me. Of course, I still told my mates I much preferred the footy, but in reality, I look forward just as much to our train trips as I did to Christmas. My father used to tell me about my grandfather and how the trains are continuously changing and that we should keep the wonder and the history of steam alive. Now, here I am, many years later, a volunteer at the Strathspey Railway since 1978. I was soon taken in by the locomotives, and also meant I got to spend a lot more time with my dad. His eyes would widen as he talked about the restoration of the trains. He was always thrilled and impressed by the process. Many of my favourite days have been spent here, listening to his tales and the stories from the other volunteers. When old age finally overcame his mind, it was difficult for him to be peaceful with his fond memories. And when the day came to say farewell, I couldn't stand down the fact. His last wish was to have his ashes scattered from the back of the train. My poor mother was up in arms at the thought. Both as stubborn as each other, we eventually agreed on half and half, which seems ridiculous now. Bear half sat on a mantelpiece for many years. I've no idea how he made it all this time with so many grandchildren running about. That was until last week, when my mother had a change of heart. We should all make peace with our memories. I don't need an arm to remind me. Go and give him a grand send-off, son. Now, here he is. With joy in my soul and my mind filled with wonder, I will scatter thee where your heart belongs forever. You will fly in the air. And though uphill climbs did slow, and the nuts and bolts did slacken, you kept your head of steam as we journeyed through the bracken. You will fly in the air. Your relentless steam for life, like a South Coast terrier, taking bends in the tracks, like a well-oiled engineer, you will fly in the air. Now your friends will come aboard as we journey on together. We will all raise a glass and remember you, my father. You will fly in the air.
Jimmy, if I'd had known earlier, I wouldn't have come.
Looks like the pints are on you, princess.
Come off it, that was definitely 5 minutes. And you will get that shovel where the sun don't shine if you keep calling me princess.
Oh, is someone getting their knickers in a twist?
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
What about your knickers? I can't see through those overalls.
About your dad. And the fact you're missing him. Instead of stomping around all morning, you big goat. Now, go on then. More about this legendary father of yours, since we have half of him with us.
They used to rattle on about the customers. Oh, what a show he put on. Like the gentleman who demanded his money back, disgruntled by the views.
Now, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the views were exactly the same on the way there as they were on the way back. Therefore, I regret to inform you I will require a refund for my ticket.
There was, without question, the cheery, cheeky, chirpy chappy who sat on the carriages, chuckling, particularly when an unsuspecting Ray let out what he thought to be a silent.
Grandad, please can I drive the train today, please?
The hyper-granddaughter who could switch from angelic to screaming devil at the drop of a hat, or more precisely being told, no!
Why not? I can drive the train.
Okay, the one with a cold, refusing to cover their mouth. I must admit, to my surprise, you've achieved your goal, you daft.
I'm not bad, eh? For the only female fireman in the Strathspey Railway, I'm not bloody bad.
You're not half proud of yourself, are you?
Well, to be honest, I did struggle at first.
At first? You still have the sweat boring off you during the journey.
Ah, but my sweat is as sweet as honey.
Your man must struggle getting out of the house.
Eh?
His nose must be as long as his train if he keeps telling you things like that every day.
Aren't you funny? Is it the anniversary of your dad's passing today? Is that why you're wearing the buttonhole?
No, it was 25 years ago today. We had a big celebration for my dad. Oh, his health was slipping away, and though he barely complained, he kept talking about the big Strathspey by the trains. My mother rattled her brains and looked through photographs, but had no recollection of what he was talking about. So, while we had the chance, we brought him down here for one last journey, and had one hell of a party on this very platform. We danced. As he sat and watched from that very bench, we raised our glasses as he gave the toast to all the men and women of the trains, especially the whiskey thieves of the night, the brave, mischievous lads.
Whiskey thieves? They sound like my kind of people.
Aye, but that's another story. Oh, it was some night magical. For months after, we had to sit and watch as his mind slowly deteriorated. It was as though he was waiting to be scrapped. That's how I imagine he felt. His outer shell was in sound working order, but within his mind he lacked the power for the long haulage.
Focus on what you gave him that night. You didn't need his memory. Your friends will come aboard as we journey on together. We will all raise a glass and remember Jimmy's father. You will fly in the air.
Clown, you might be princess, but you've got a great big heart.
I think I prefer Rochelle the Mighty to Princess. If I was a train, that would be my name. The Mighty.
Can you not think of something more ladylike?
Well, you don't sound old-fashioned at all. Well, come on then, old codger. Time to get back to work. You can tell me some more stories over that pint you owe me.
Come on, Dad. Full steam ahead. All aboard, folks! Thank you.